I let out a sound of pure frustration, the kind that usually precedes a bad decision. That gun god, acting all high and mighty with his long-range superiority. I shouted him to drop the gun and fight me in melee, just to see if he's actually capable of it. He fires back some nonsense about not giving his sister-in-law to someone like me. I retort that if I can't even win this, I might as well change my last name. I mutter to myself that I'm perfectly sane, despite the current situation. I mean, seriously, what kind of idiot brings a melee assassin to a gunfight against an archer? I groan, realizing my tactical brilliance has failed me again. I let out a sharp breath of disbelief. I curse under my breath as everything goes sideways. I look around, frantically trying to figure out where on earth I've ended up. Did I just time travel? My brain is definitely struggling to load this new reality. Wait, this is the same God realm from my previous life, before the world collapsed. Everyone else thinks it's just some legendary game. Poor souls. Little do they know, in 3 short months, things are going to change drastically. The game and reality are going to merge into one big, chaotic mess. And the worst part? Dying in the game means dying for real. No respawns, just game over. The gods descend, and suddenly humanity is at the bottom of the food chain. We all become little more than ants under the boots of divine entities. And here I am, an assassin specialized in melee, completely out of my depth. I couldn't even survive a single shot from that gun god back then. In this second chance, I am definitely rolling a ranged class. Maybe a mage or a summoner. Something that keeps me far away from the carnage. I, Guqing, am done with getting my hands dirty. Starting today, I'm changing my entire career path. Goodbye, frontline brawling. I won't miss the bruises. It's time to embrace the art of kiting and stay out of trouble. A system voice chirps at me, welcoming me to the god realm like it's a vacation resort. I get the standard, welcome to the game greeting. If only they knew what was coming. The system tells me it's building my character, and I should wait patiently. I hate waiting. Suddenly, a warning flashes red. It's detected some unknown fragments of willpower in me. It starts a cleanup process, which sounds ominous. I hope my memories are safe. I try to shout no at the system, but it's already doing its own thing. I let out a nervous, stuttering noise as the screen flickers violently. The system highlights me, as if I'm the problem in its pristine code. To my surprise, it forces a temporary ranged Shadow Hunter template onto me. It grants me an SSS tier talent called Sun Piercing. My luck is finally looking up. It asked me to name my character, so I go with Ji Shun. Simple, catchy, slightly ridiculous. I didn't even get to read the skill descriptions before it pushed me through. The nerve of this system. Apparently, I'm now the only ranged assassin Shadow Hunter in existence. Cool, I guess. I check my first skill, Swift Shadow. Sounds fancy. It keeps me invisible for 15 seconds. That's enough time to grab a coffee, maybe. It also comes with a shadow-breaking strike. I assume that means I hit things hard. Next is 10,000 Flying Knives. It gathers shadow daggers for a ranged attack. The cooldown is 8 seconds. I can work with that. Then there's Assault, which allows for a single, powerful attack. It's a heavy-hitting melee strike, which seems a bit contradictory for a ranged build. Wait, no cooldown on Assault. That's actually broken. I love it. I decide it's time to step out and test these new toys on something. I watch in awe as the skill activates. That's pretty cool. Oh, wonderful. My character triggers a unique assassin effect. It forces me, the user, into a 2-second stun. Why does the game hate me? Is Assault supposed to be a joke? Because I'm not laughing. And the Flying Knives have an 8-second cooldown, so I'm stuck waiting. I hear someone screaming to run for my life, which is excellent advice for once. I let out a yelp of pure panic as a monster lunges at me. I already hate this skill. It's definitely going to get me killed. A level 5 Wild Wolf almost sent me back to the login screen. Not my proudest moment. So this is the elite treatment for having an SSS tier talent? I feel cheated. Invisibility only lasts 15 seconds. That's barely time to panic properly. And then it has a 60-second cooldown. What am I supposed to do in between? That leaves a 45-second gap where I'm completely exposed. During that time, I'm basically just a walking target with a sign that says, hit me. I really need to figure out how to shorten that cooldown before I become wolf snacks. Grinding levels is the only way out of this, but it's going to be exhausting. After 27 pathetic attempts at combat, I've finally gathered some data. I've drawn a few life-saving conclusions from my failures. First, I have to pop invisibility in the last 2 seconds before I attack. Second, once I fire, I need to sprint in the opposite direction immediately. Standing still is basically a death sentence in this game. Third, during that 8-second cooldown on my knives, I need to keep at least 10 meters of distance from whatever I'm fighting. Otherwise, I get caught and pulverized. Not a fun experience. Fourth, whoever designed this class clearly has a sick sense of humor. I'm done with it, but unfortunately, I'm stuck with these skills for now. I find the blacksmith, and the atmosphere is thick with the smell of iron and bad luck. This old guy is completely unreasonable, even for an NPC. I politely ask him if he has any quests, just being a good player. He responds by swinging his blade at me. Rude. The grumpy old man has finally come online, and he's not in the mood for talk. It's like he thinks he's some kind of legendary tough guy from a movie. I tell him to just hand over the quest already. Let's keep this moving. I offer to kill the Bear King for him, hoping that'll smooth things over. He immediately demands to know where I heard about the Bear King. I explain that we players can respawn, so trying to kill me won't stop me. Threatening me is just a waste of his time and my XP. I remind him that 3 years ago, the Bear King slaughtered everyone at Black Bear Ridge. His own wife and son were there, and the memory clearly still haunts him. He was the only survivor of that massacre, which explains his current mood. Ever since then, he's been hiding out here in this blacksmith shop, and he's been busy crafting a blade specifically designed to finish off that bear. He asks me what I want in exchange for my help. I tell him flat out, the beast's skull. He's shocked, wondering how on earth I know about that item. I tell him it doesn't matter how I know. Keep the focus on the mission. I reiterate that I'm the only one who can actually help him get his revenge. He scoffs, pointing out that I can barely handle a common wild wolf. He claims the Bear King would turn me into a smear on the ground with one swipe. I admit that I'm definitely not strong enough to take it on right now. But I ask him to give me just 5 days, and I'll prove I can do it. I tell him with complete confidence that I can definitely pull this off. He explains that this blade has been his faithful companion for the last 20 years. He promises it really will give me the power boost I need. It adds 5 extra attribute points every single time I level up. Not bad. I can even stack up evolution points by hunting monsters. Truly a grind lover's dream. He warns me, though, that anyone who owns it will constantly be under the gaze of disaster. Always fun. He reminds me that there's no such thing as a free lunch, kid. He says I should expect some news within the next 5 days. The system dings as I officially accept the mission. A countdown for the Hunt the Bear King quest pops up. 5 days to go. The system adds a friendly reminder that if I fail, well, I'll be docked 5 points in all attributes. Nothing like a little motivation. He grunts that the Bear King isn't exactly a pushover. He tells me if I realize I'm outmatched, I should just run. No sense in throwing my life away for free. I reassure him that he has nothing to worry about. My greatest talent is literally running away at top speed. He sighs, hoping that my confidence is actually justified. I get a notification, killed an 8th level wolf, earned 80 experience points. That makes 47 kills so far. I'm starting to get the hang of this. The rhythm is getting smoother every minute. Just 2 more days of farming, and those evolution points are mine. Suddenly, I spot Baz, the guy who ranked 2nd on the pro list in my past life. One of the legendary top 10 players, right here in the flesh. He introduces himself as Baz, clearly enjoying his own importance. He asks if I'm out here farming monsters all by my lonesome. He compliments my moves, calling me G-Shun. I guess the name is catching on. He notes that my last throw hit from 30 meters away. A single hit, and the monster was down for the count. He remarks that I'm using flying knives. He's never seen an assassin use knives for ranged attacks before. Truly a trendsetter. He points out that my invisibility breaks the second I attack. He asks how I plan to survive the next few dozen seconds. I tell him the strategy is simple. I just run. If I'm fast enough, the monsters just can't catch me. He laughs, noting that I have a surprisingly sharp eye. The legendary number 2 isn't just full of hot air after all. He says I'm interesting and decides he wants to be friends. Then this other guy shows up, claiming this entire area as his property. He shouts that everyone from the Launcher Guild needs to get lost within 3 seconds, or else. Looks like the area is already being claimed by someone else today. Baz asks where this random nobody thinks he crawled out from. The guy scoffs, recognizing me as the one who uses flying knives. He admits my skills aren't half bad. He offers me a generous chance to prove myself. He tells me to kneel down and call him Big Brother. He wants me to join his crew and follow his lead. I apologize, mentioning that I have bad knees. Kneeling just isn't happening for me today. He gets annoyed, finding my refusal quite amusing. He says I'm the first person to talk to him like that. He decides to remember both of us for later. Starting today, he declares, there's no place left for us on the Wolf Plains. He promises to hunt us down every single time he sees us. I think to myself that people like him always end up crashing eventually. Baz says he agrees with me, Jishan. Even though we just met, he can tell I'm someone who actually has some real talent. He tells me to just reach out whenever I need a hand. I agree, noting that Launcher Kwangdao isn't the type to just let this go. He has connections on the outside, and can easily get his hands on rare items. He warns me to be careful. In my past life, he was a king among players. But this time around, that's definitely not guaranteed. I ask Baz if he's supposed to be the big tough guy here. I tell him to go ahead and take on 20 more. He acts all proud about fighting just one guy. Nobody plays by the rules these days, anyway. A cry goes up as the brawl starts. More shouts echo through the chaos. More than 20 guys ganging up on one person. Even a beast like Baz can't handle those kinds of numbers. I figure that if I don't help, he's going to end up dead right here. But if I get involved, it's going to get messy. I let out a sigh. There goes my peaceful farming session. Someone spots me in the distance. I pretend I'm just passing through by accident. I tell them I saw the fight and got curious. Guilty as charged. I act humble, saying I'm just one guy. I ask them if chasing me will actually give them any satisfaction. Baz shouts for me to run over to his side. I thank him for the invite, acting like it's no big deal. Now the real question is, what do we do about this mess? He tells me not to worry, his squad is on the way. I chuckle at the thought that 7 people think they can flip the tables. That's a nice dream, but highly unlikely. A system alarm blares. An elite-level boss has spawned nearby. It prompts all players to head over and start the raid. I smirk at the timing. The boss first kill is going to be mine, naturally. He growls that we're lucky to get away this time. He claims he'll come back to finish us after he bags the loot. Baz asks what my plan is for the next move. I say I'm going to help them ease the pressure on their team fight. As for the boss reward, that's a different story. I tell them that the chaos we're causing is just the interest on the debt they owe me. With only 7 of us, we're technically outgunned by a mile. I tell them not to worry, because helping isn't really the plan anyway. I ask them if they've ever heard of a certain legendary move. You know, the one that descends from the heavens with style? I prepare to show them exactly what a descent from the heavens looks like. I tell them to just sit back and enjoy the show I'm about to put on. I spot an opening. I brace myself for the impact. I wonder if this boss was actually designed for humans, or if I should demand a refund. I shout for everyone to get out of my way. The rival guild boss claims the boss monster belongs to them. Cute. I tell the monster it's time to meet its maker. This beast has more raw strength than I anticipated. I keep my blade up, hoping for a miracle. With over 20 players already hammering on it, the accumulated damage is massive. I need to land one absolutely perfect, game-breaking hit. It's the only way to snatch the ownership rights right out from under them. I pull off a heavy strike, dropping in from above. A damage pop-up shows 246. Everyone is scrambling to see who landed it. I'm honestly surprised that jumping down actually worked. The damage scaling based on height is ridiculous, but I'll take it. The higher I drop from, the bigger the number goes. The rival guild leader sees me and sighs. It's you again, you weirdo. A system update informs me I've hit 30% of the total health pool. The loot ownership is locked onto me. Victory tastes like pixels. I whisper to myself that I actually pulled it off. I taunt the monster as I finish the job. I ask Baz if he's really sure he wants to keep picking this fight. I remind him that he was the one who poked my friends first. We're 6 against 18, and I ask him if he really likes those odds. I wonder if he's delusional enough to think he's winning. I invite him to give it his best shot. The boss goes berserk, and suddenly, everyone starts running for their lives. I call out to Baz, needing him to distract the monster for a second. He tells his guys to hold the line. His underlings rush in, claiming they're here to assist their boss. Another one joins in, sounding way more heroic than he actually is. I hear the frantic screaming of players being tossed around like ragdolls. I can't help but laugh at the absolute disaster unfolding in front of me. I tell Baz that his crew is remarkably useless. He shouts that I've gone invisible again. They start frantically looking for me, which is honestly quite flattering. The boss leader asks where the heck I got a flare gun. I yell back that it was from Blacksmith Wong at the village entrance. He curses and decides to go dismantle that blacksmith shop later. I drop down again, keeping the pressure on. My cumulative damage share hits 41%. Doing pretty well, I'd say. I wonder where these 4 old guys actually came from. They scream at each other to just kill me already. They convince themselves that if they kill me, they'll get the loot rights back. The system announces that Ji Shun has scored the first kill on an elite boss. My name flashes across the server, effectively making me a local celebrity. The system gives the standard, annoying encouragement for other players to do better. I thank the boss for the loot as I stash it away. I tell them I'll treat them to a meal next time, if they survive. Luan Shi Kwangdao screams that he's not done with me yet. He swears he'll remember this grudge for the rest of his life. He promises to make me pay for this insult. One of his guys asks if they should really keep going. He quickly decides that we're probably not worth the trouble. He mocks his boss, asking why he's defending him so hard. He wonders if there's some kind of secret romance going on. He teases that he must be really infatuated with him. I tell them to shut up with that nonsense. He frantically calls his outside connections for help. He needs a reveal talisman, and he needs it now. Only the highest grade will do, apparently. He's also looking for some actual decent gear to equip. He vows that he will personally execute me next time we meet. I thank the lovely ladies who helped me out earlier. Baz calls me a brother and tells me I'm a total freak. I just shrug, accepting the compliment in my own way. It's not like I have much of a choice, really. In this wilderness, having these 4 around is actually a blessing. He says he wasn't even talking about that. He's talking about the life-severing skill, a god-tier physical ability. The system confirms I've successfully learned a new move. It's life-severing, level 1. Finally, some real damage. I feel a little guilty for taking it, to be honest. Without them here, though, there's no way I could have managed this on my own. I warned them to watch out for Luan Shirkwang Dao on their way out. We say our goodbyes for now. My total damage output just doubled thanks to this new skill. This skill is absolutely broken, and I love it. I activate my hunting mode, feeling the power surge. I get 1 evolution point for my efforts. I check the cost for my first evolution. I decide to burn the point and see what happens. I upgrade Swift Shadow into something better. My invisibility duration just jumped by 3 seconds, and the cooldown just dropped by 10 seconds. Finally, even my fixed damage output went from 20 to 100. Massive upgrade. The Bear King is next on the menu. I check if they brought the items I asked for. The reveal talisman is finally in my hands. It's D-grade quality, which should do the trick. Within a 50-meter radius, any stealth skill below D-grade is getting revealed instantly. I also need a few pieces of high-damage gear to round out my build. Something with enough punch to delete enemies in a single shot. I tell them tomorrow delivery is fine, and I let out a laugh. Business is booming. Luan Shirkwang Dao sneers, wondering where I think I can hide this time. One of his lackeys reports back to him. He says they finally pinned down my location. I sit there, waiting for them, completely unbothered. He promises his guild that he's going to finish me off personally. I tell them they're moving way too slow for my liking. I ask them if they're brave enough to meet me in the Gloom Canyon. I joke that anyone who doesn't show up is signing up for a career change. One of his men asks if he's just going to lie to them again. He snaps back, asking if they have a weird desire to be women. The guy quickly retracts the comment, saying he was just repeating what he heard. I check my stats, 21 seconds of invisibility. With a 40-second cooldown, the math is getting better. That leaves me with only a 19-second window of vulnerability. One more level up, and I'll have seamless, infinite invisibility. My agility stat is looking solid, like I'm ready for a track meet. I've mapped out the Bear King's spawn point in the mountain cave. It starts its patrol every morning at 8 a.m. sharp. The patrol loop starts by circling the left side. Then it loops around the right side. At noon, it heads back into the cave for a nap. And in the afternoon, it's back out for more terrorizing. I've marked out a few spots that are perfect for an ambush. These positions are at a safe, healthy distance. Plus, there's plenty of cover to duck behind once I've taken my shot. I think to myself that my rival really is a persistent pain in the neck. The guild scouts report that they've finally spotted me. They say I've been hanging around the Black Bear Ridge area. The boss looks confused by the mention of Black Bear Ridge. He wonders what on earth I'm doing in a place like that. The lackey guesses I'm just out here grinding on low-level mobs. Whatever my reasons, it doesn't matter to him. He's dead set on ending me by tomorrow. My sun-piercing knives just evolved, and the system chime is sweet. The quality level just jumped up a tier. Now they're specialized, high-tier throwing knives. I can briefly hover in midair after throwing them. Talk about a view. I can even manipulate the trajectory once while they're in flight. The cooldown dropped from 8 seconds down to 6. And the damage multiplier went from 110% up to 160%. The manual steering on these things is going to be so much fun. It's basically a tracking system for my daggers now. Every archer out there is going to be incredibly jealous. Now let's get my Blood Shadow skill leveled up too. The system confirms Blood Shadow is now rank 4. Invisibility duration is up to 5 seconds now. Total stealth time is now a comfy 25 seconds. The cooldown is down to 30 seconds total. I'm down to a measly 5-second gap of exposure. One more evolution and I'll be a permanent ghost in the machine. It's finally time to go introduce myself to the Bear King. Luan Shirkwang Dao sneers, saying he's been waiting for me. I ask him if he's tired of dragging his massive entourage everywhere he goes. He tells me to shut my trap and stop the chatter. He promises today is the day I learn the price of stealing his boss. He reveals a D-grade reveal talisman, flashing it like a trophy. He laughs, claiming my stealth is useless against his tech. I check my stats. Mine is shin grade, actually. It's technically a tier higher than his little talisman. Wait, he actually thinks his D-grade junk will work on me? He declares there's no way I'm escaping this time. I call him Diamond Kwangdao, a little nickname to get under his skin. I ask if he stopped to think about one simple thing. He asks what I could possibly have to say to him. I point out that he spent 50 gold coins on that talisman. Then he blew more cash on all that shiny gear. All this just to hunt down a level 7 assassin like me? That's a terrible return on investment, if you ask me. He yells that it's his money, and he'll spend it however he likes. He's committed to the bid, for better or for worse. I say that's fair, but let me tell you one more thing. My dagger just leveled up, and it's feeling hungry. He lets out a noise of confusion. I let out a quick, sharp exhale. I make a sound of focused intensity. I let out a taunting chuckle. I tell him he owes me a life now. I tell him to put it on the tab, but keep the interest rates low. He screams at Baz, asking why he's insisting on opposing him. Baz says he's just here to lend a hand where it's needed. Luansher Kwangdao says fine, that's how it's going to be. He declares that he's going to take us both out at the same time. I laugh, pointing out that he didn't just bring one talisman, did he? He reveals a slowing talisman that covers a 30-meter radius. Everyone caught in the blast has their movement speed cut in half. This guy must own a talisman shop or something. He taunts us, saying we aren't going anywhere now. I hear the frantic cries of the players caught in the field. If this keeps up, Baz and I are going to be toast. I let out a sound of pure concentration. I call out to Baz, trying to formulate a plan. He tells me to get out of here while he stalls them. I tell him I'm stuck. My legs are basically lead right now. I beg Baz to just buy me 10 seconds of time. I let out a sharp, urgent exclamation. He sneers, asking if I really thought hiding behind a rock would save me. He confirms that his reveal talisman is still very much active. He declares that there is nowhere left for me to run. He sarcastically adds that I'm pretty fast for a runner. He reminds me that he still has 30 people standing in my way. I think to myself that it's finally time to pull out the desperate moves. I check my HUD. The tractor talisman effect has 20 seconds left. The slowing effect has 30 seconds to go. Great, just perfect. He taunts me, asking why I stopped running so suddenly. I tell him I'm out of gas and can't run anymore. I suggest that maybe he should just carry me to my death instead. I curse as I fat finger the controls again. My coordination is a joke. I swear to myself that I am never touching melee combat again in this life. This is the final hit. The end of the road for one of us. I invite him to step up and take his shot. I ask if he's ready to die, feeling totally outplayed and confused. He screams in rage, calling me a dirty, sneaky coward. I explain that it's just tactical terrain utilization, not being sneaky. The system notifies me that I have successfully eliminated a player. It's Launcher Kwangdao. The boss is down. I tell my group it's time to move before the rest of them swarm us. Baz asks in shock if I actually killed the rival guild boss. I tell him not to ask questions right now. I just need a second to catch my breath and stop my heart from racing. He just grunts, impressed despite himself. Word starts spreading around that Launcher Kwangdao went down. Apparently, everyone is hearing he got soloed by an assassin. Even with 30 goons backing him up, he still couldn't handle it. He really managed to die with an entire army at his back. I hear the ghost of his rage, promising he'll remember this grudge forever. I let out a sound of lingering adrenaline. I accidentally break some public property in the commotion. Whoops. I let out a weary, breathless sigh. Baz warns me that Launcher Kwangdao isn't the type to just let this go. I really did humiliate him in front of everyone today. He says revenge is definitely going to be on the menu soon. I tell him I'm aware, which is why I need to power up as fast as possible. Next on my to-do list, hunting down a bear. Baz asks which bear, and I tell him the Bear King. He asks if I need him to come along and provide some backup. I decline, telling him I prefer to handle this one solo. I explain that my class is actually better at dueling than group brawls. He warns me that the Jinshan brothers are total monsters, so be careful. I get a system ping. Another black bear down, another 80 XP for the pile. That's 34 kills logged. The count is climbing. The Bear King is a level 10 D-grade boss monster. It's rocking at least 50,000 HP, which is a massive wall to climb. Given my current damage output per hit, I'm going to need to land at least 50 clean strikes. My invisibility only lasts 25 seconds. I absolutely have to make every single second count. Melee attacks? Never again. I am strictly staying out of reach. That gun assault skill of mine. I'm scrubbing it from my hotbar the second I get back to town. I trigger my hunting moment buff. The system grants me 1 evolution point for the effort. My invisibility duration is up to 30 seconds, and the cooldown is down to 25 seconds. The vulnerability window is officially a thing of the past. As long as I keep my timing crisp, I can basically stay invisible forever. Infinite stealth unlocked. I spot an old scar on its hind leg. The scales there look a bit thinner than the rest of its hide. It lets out a wild roar, and its mysterious attribute spikes by 20%. Already hitting its berserk phase? That was fast. I can't tank this. That would be a one-way ticket to death. I need to keep my distance and kite this beast. 15 seconds until my skill is back up. Just need to hang on. System alert. I've solo killed the level 10 D-grade Rage Bear King. A solo D-grade boss kill. Not bad for an assassin. I wonder if I'm pushing myself a little too hard in this lifetime. In the old timeline, the first guild token sold for 300 million. This time, that token is going to be mine for free. Quest complete. I've successfully hunted the Bear King. Time to head back to the forge and collect my reward. I arrive at the shop, ready to settle my debts. The 5-day limit hasn't even hit yet. The blacksmith asks why I'm back so early. I tell him I brought the Bear King's heart and the other goods he wanted. I dump the loot on his workbench. It's been 20 years of waiting for this moment. The revenge is finally served. He says he spent 3 long years crafting this blade. All he wanted was to be the one to decapitate that bear. He can't believe a level 1 brat actually pulled it off. I remind him that I'm level 7 now. Thank you very much. He grins, saying I've done him a massive favor. He tells me the beast's skull is officially mine. But wait, there's more. He says he has one more thing to give me. He hands over a key to the Flame Demon Lord's lair. My brain freezes. Is this a key? The Flame Demon Lord? Isn't that the final boss of the hidden newbie village dungeon? He tells me that on the day the Bear King raided the quarry 3 years ago, his wife and son didn't just die by some random accident. Someone had intentionally lured the Bear King right to them. I ask who, and he points the finger at the village chief. He explains that the chief and the Flame Demon Lord had made a dirty deal. The Demon Lord provided the chief with endless power and wealth. In exchange, The chief had to sacrifice the souls of our fellow villagers. That mess at the vegetable market? Yeah, that was just a ritual sacrifice. And the village chief, that sweet old man with the gentle smile? I've learned that the ones who look the most harmless are usually the ones you need to watch. I've been digging into this for 3 years straight. Finally, I've managed to get the full story. The Flame Demon Lord's nest is buried deep beneath the ground at Black Bear Ridge. This key is the only thing that can unlock the entrance. I'm getting on in years, so I can't exactly go storming a dungeon. But you? You could do me a massive favor and take out the Flame Demon Lord. Help those poor villagers get the justice they deserve. A quest window pops up, the Flame Demon's Judgment. Do I accept? I hit accept. Of course, it's a level 15 heavenly grade boss. In the previous timeline, nobody even touched this guy for the first full month of the game. I'm only level 7 right now. Taking on a heavenly grade boss is a bit of a stretch. I've got to hit level 10 first if I want to survive this. The village chief wanders over, asking if I need any help. I give him a polite no thanks and keep walking. If the blacksmith hadn't tipped me off, I'd never in a million years believe this old guy was the villain. In the past life, this dungeon wasn't discovered until 2 months after the server went live. Back then, I was still struggling in the starter village, nowhere near having the stats to step foot inside here. Good grief, the air here smells like I just walked into a volcano. These level 10 elites have 5 bars of health each. Fantastic. Fighting over a dozen of them solo is going to be a workout. I'm going to need to be extremely tactical about this. Blood Shadow, up to level 5 now. 30 seconds of pure invisibility. A 25-second cooldown? That's gold. The gap where I'm exposed basically doesn't exist anymore. If I just keep my rhythm steady, I can essentially stay invisible as long as I want. And there's more to deal with. Always more enemies around the corner. At this pace, just finishing this one floor is going to take me an hour. Wait, 2 D-grade bosses? At the same time? This really isn't playing by the rules, guys. Why do I always have to run right through their legs? Here they come again, double-teaming me. Maybe I should just bail and go grind some more levels? This brute force strategy isn't working. They're coordinating their attacks way too well. I've got to isolate one of them and take it down first. One of them pauses for 2 seconds after attacking. The other one covers for it while it recovers. That 2-second delay is my only window to strike. I jump into the fray. Come on, let's get this over with. System ping, D-grade lava guard killed, experience added. Hunting moment, activate. 2 more evolution points for the bank. A long time ago, the flame demon arrived, falling from the sky. Everything was swallowed by endless flames. Humanity started sacrificing villagers to it, and the demon granted them long life in exchange. Eventually, the flame demon fell into a deep sleep. and the settlement eventually turned into this starter village. The secret has been passed down through every generation of chiefs. So this corruption didn't just start with the current guy. Their ancestors have been doing this for hundreds of years. The flame demon's blood can melt absolutely anything. It's too much for any normal human body to handle. Only the shadow power can break it. Flame Shadow. Isn't that exactly what my current build is? Shadow Hunter. You don't think? My class is naturally built to counter the Flame Demon Lord, do you? A Flame Envoy appears. Level 12. Fireball, Flame Burst, Flame Nova. Lovely. And it summons fire elementals, too. Great, another magic casting boss. I swear, I absolutely despise fighting mages. They're always trying to kite me all over the arena. Target down, D-grade boss eliminated. Hunting moment, let's go. Another evolution point for me. The loot drops are actually decent. Let's keep farming. The demon lord shouts that a mere mortal dares to enter his domain. I tell him I was just passing through and thought the view was nice. Though, I add, it's a little bit too hot in here for my taste. He calls me a smooth-talking human. He asks if I really think making it this far qualifies me to face him. He gestures to the souls. Those are our fellow villagers. He says their essence is the source of all his power. Every 10 years, the chief delivers a new batch of souls to him, in exchange for eternal life. The vegetable market worker, the butcher from the ridge, that missing caravan of merchants, they were all handpicked by the chief. He notes I took down 2 of his subordinates, so I clearly have some actual talent. But he asks me if I really think that's going to be enough. He tells me his true form is sleeping deep in the heart of this lair. He mocks me, saying I don't even have the qualifications to lay eyes on him. I ask him, politely, how exactly I'm supposed to earn that privilege. He says it's easy, just slaughter the guardian of the 3rd floor. The door will open itself once that happens. But he adds, with a laugh, that it's impossible for a lone player like me. I see the shadow assassin standing there. Level 13, 60,000 HP. Great, another bullet sponge. Skills, stealth, backstab, and shadow step. Classic. He's a single blade assassin. Wait, is he a ranged assassin? No, wait, he's drawing dual blades. He's a melee assassin. Wonderful, I hate melee combat. Here we go again. I really, really hate melee fights. This boss is an assassin build. He can stealth, he can backstab. And I'm an assassin build too. But I'm stuck with a ranged build. How am I supposed to fight fire with fire here? I give him a wave. Might as well be friendly before I die. System notification, D-grade shadow assassin fight initiated. Hunting moment, go. I managed to scrape 1 more evolution point out of this. 3 floors, 3 layers of hell. Is this dungeon even designed for human beings to clear? Laughter echoes everywhere, loud and annoying. Just standing here makes me lose HP. It's an environmental hazard. Seriously, this place needs a decent HVAC system or on toast. I let out a yelp as something grazes me. He tells me to step up, kid. Flame Demon Lord, level 15, 100,000 HP. You've got to be kidding me. Attack power 6,000. 100k HP. Attack 6,000. Is this a joke? Are these numbers for real? One swipe from this guy would wipe out 5 of me. He tells me that as a mere mortal, I have some nerve, killing his subordinates and then showing my face to him. Well, I'm already here. It'd be rude not to say hello, right? A tiny scrape, and I'm already losing a fortune in durability. He shouts, immunity, and tells me to drop dead. He calls me an ant. He says my invisibility is meaningless in his presence. My sun-piercing hits for true damage. It shouldn't be immune to anything. Unless, he's got a shield soaking it all up. That shield doesn't just boost defense. It directly absorbs the damage entirely. My sun-piercing ignores armor, but it doesn't bypass damage absorption skills. I need to evolve my sun-piercing knives immediately. Wait, the degrade version has a special effect. It ignores all damage absorption and shield effects. Jackpot. He freaks out, asking what kind of skill that is. Too cool. Let's see how he handles this. He's still blathering about the world being his eventually. I'm busy looking at my upgrade path. Ignoring all shields. This is the dream. Flame Demon Lord, your little turtle shell just shattered. Here we go again. He's trying to run off like last time. I let out a sound of exertion. He asks how I'm even breaking his shield. I shout something random, just for the adrenaline. I call for the others to pile in. Everything is coming together now. I give a cry of triumph. I mutter a quick prayer. Can't hurt, right? Another shout as I land the final blow. System announcement. Player Ji-shun has scored the first kill on the heavenly grade Flame Demon Lord. The server message gives its usual uninspired encouragement. He lets out a howl, losing his weapon. He can't believe it. It's just not fair. Everyone sees the name Ji-shun again. They're all wondering who this guy from the Xia country actually is. Some claim it's just dumb luck. They insist that our players will catch up to him any day now. System update. Player Ji-shun is the first to reach 100 renown. The renown leaderboard is now officially open. Again with the keep trying hard message. I check my new passive, Lava Poison. It lets burning lava corrode enemy wounds over time. If a target dies while affected, the poison spreads to everyone within 10 meters. Then there's this substitute straw man. It takes a lethal hit for me, and it teleports me to a designated safe zone instantly. One use count. Basically, it's a second life. This is going to be my new favorite survival tool. The space ring adds 200 slots of inventory space. And best of all, items don't drop on death anymore. The Flame Demon Bow. Attack power. Strength plus 800, agility plus 100. That's a monster stat stick. The sun-piercing arrow condenses shadow power. It turns into an arrow that deals triple damage. Special effect. It pierces through multiple enemies. And it inflicts the lava poison effect on everything it hits. Wait, my throwing knives just turned into a bow? 3-second cooldown on this thing. Double the damage output. I am absolutely set. And it pierces through multiple targets, too. Listen up, archers. Your era has officially come to an end. Starting today, I am the undisputed king of ranged combat. Village Chief, it's high time your little secrets saw the light of day. The villagers scream in shock as I make my entrance. Someone shouts my name, Ji-shun, loud enough to wake the dead. They're whispering that I just walked out of the dungeon. A player asks me what kind of loot drops from a hell mode dungeon. Heavenly grade boss, baby. They all assume I must be swimming in legendary gear now. I ask who wants to join me for a little hidden quest I've got in mind. The crowd goes wild, all of them begging to be the chosen one. I announce that I'm personally leading the charge. People are practically fighting each other just for a spot in my party. Move it, move it. Don't block my path to greatness. I'm on a mission, so get out of my way. The village chief asks if I've returned from the northern cliff. He wants to know if I found anything interesting over there. I pull out the Flame Demon Lord's heart. The thing that lived in the molten core to the north. I tell him I personally dug it out of the flame demon lord. He looks terrified. He didn't know there was a demon in there. Oh, it wasn't just a demon chief. I ask if he wants to offer an explanation for something. Like, why the entrance to that demon's nest is located conveniently close to our village? He plays dumb, acting like he has no idea what I'm talking about. He calls the guards, demanding they toss this crazy talker out. One of the guards speaks up, noting I just killed the demon lord. He calls me the village hero. He suggests maybe we should hear me out first. The chief snaps at the guard, asking if he's trying to defy his orders. I hold up a trinket I found in the demon's nest. I ask why his personal item was sitting in a demon's lair. I ask him what else he's got to say for himself. He laughs, mocking the fact that his 10 years of hard work were just ruined by an outsider like me. He wails that I've destroyed absolutely everything he built. Holy cow, the chief just morphed into some kind of monster. Yes, it's happening. This was the hidden quest the whole time. I tell him I can't believe he really betrayed the village. He retorts that he just chose a path with more power. He sneers, asking what bugs like us think we can do against him. He says since we've already figured it out, we can all just go ahead and die together. The sound cuts out abruptly, like the world just hit a mute button. Everyone charges in, hoping for those sweet boss drops. He lets out a howl, bragging about his newfound power. He asks what we possibly have to resist him now. He addresses the adventurers, taunting us to try and save our little village. System alert, special quest destruction or protection triggered. The first option offers a nice stat boost, but if I pick that, I'm basically turning into a villain. Not today. I'm going with the second option. That gaze point I saved is going to be incredibly useful here. Of course, some people actually pick the first path. Thank goodness I went with the second choice. Someone comments that the big boss just cleared the whole field in one go. He screams that I'm dead. I ask if the fight has started yet. I tell him it's already over. The crowd starts chanting Hero Lilian. They thank me for saving the village. They're losing their minds over how insane that last skill was. System notification. Special quest destruction or protection completed. I bagged 10 more gaze points. Lovely. Everyone is shouting hero, hero. It's almost embarrassing. The Royal Guard captain steps up. He says the chief's position can't stay vacant for long. He tells me I'm clearly the best fit for the job. He keeps calling me Master Wong, Master Wong. He asks if there's anything I need his help with. He says I just have to ask, and it's mine tomorrow. I tell him I need to activate the teleport array to Linling City. He says it's all mine to use whenever I want. The quest is officially wrapped up. People start drifting away, happy to have been carried to success. They're happy enough just to lie back and collect the free rewards. They ask when I'm leading another party, as it was super fun. Everyone is first in line to sign up for the next run. The captain says they'll never forget what I did for the village. They're going to treasure the memory forever. He hands me the highest honor the village can bestow, the title, Rural Hero. He tells me from now on, wherever I go, this place will always be my home. I wave goodbye to the village doctor. I promise I'll come back as soon as I'm done with my business. He says he'll be waiting for me whenever I return. The blacksmith tells me, you're finally here. It's finally come to an end. He says, young man, your talents are even greater than I anticipated. He mentions he has an old friend in Linling City. His name is General Lei Kemming. He's a general in the City Lord's Guard. He tells me to take his letter of introduction and track him down. He promises that the general will teach me some real skills. Quest accepted, the blacksmith's recommendation. I need to head over to Linling City and hand over that letter to General Lei Kemming. Quest reward, a random range skill book. Finally, I thank him, and he tells me to get moving. He says there's no sense in wasting any more time around here. Linling City is exactly where a talent like me belongs. The whole village is here to see me off. Kind of sweet, honestly. They call me a brave outlander. A little cliché, but I'll take it. They wish for the heavens to watch over me. They tell me that wherever I wander, I should always walk in peace and safety. I let out a thoughtful breath as I look at the map. The city lord's mansion is to the north. That's where all the official buildings and government types are. The business district is down south. That's where I need to go if I want to snag a shop location. The noble district is off limits for now. Figures. And the civilian slums are west, right near the black market. First things first, track down General Lake Hemming. Deliver this letter and get it over with. Then I'll hunt down the assassin mentor. Got to get that class promotion finished. Finally, I'll hit the business district to handle the shop paperwork. The guards shout at me to halt. This is official territory. They say that random nobodies aren't allowed inside under any circumstances. They ask if I'm an outlander. They tell me this isn't a tourist spot and to get lost. I tell them, look, guys, I'm here on a recommendation. I'm looking to speak with General Lake Hemming. I ask them to be so kind as to pass the message along. They admit the general is actually inside, but they warn me he's drowning in official business. Whether he's willing to see someone like me, they can't guarantee a thing. They ask for my name and what business I have with the big man. I keep it simple. Tell him a blacksmith sent me. They demand to see what I'm bringing. The general remarks that the old guy finally bothered to reach out. He admits he isn't exactly the right person to teach me, but he happens to know a guy who is definitely up for the job. He gives me a letter to take to Chineseanime. He says Chineseanime will know exactly what to do with me. Quest updated. Deliver General Lake Hemming's letter to Chineseanime. Quest reward. A universal range skill book. Nice. A universal book means it's 100% compatible with my build. Chineseanime, the legendary assassin mentor. If I remember my history right, he doesn't even live in the city proper. He's hiding out in the black market tunnels outside the walls. Getting an audience with him won't be easy. I'll have to get past the layers of black market security first. But with a letter from General Lake Hemming, I should be able to smooth over quite a bit of trouble. I let out a soft grunt of anticipation. The guard asks if I've taken a wrong turn, little brother. He tells me this definitely isn't a sightseeing destination. He points out the slums up ahead and warns that the black market is further down. He says for a new face like mine, getting inside is the easy part. Getting out in one piece, that's where it gets difficult. I tell him General Lake Hemming is the one who sent me here. The guard's attitude flips, realizing I'm a guest of the general. He begs me to please come inside. He apologizes for being so pushy earlier. He asks that I please be the better man and not hold a grudge against a lowly guard like him. He points down the path. Past the slums, that's where the black market begins. He says the person I'm looking for is likely hanging around somewhere in there. The guards wonder what my deal is. A letter from the general isn't something you see every day. They say they haven't seen one in 3 months. One guard tells the other to pipe down. If a guy can get a personal note from the general, that's not a guy we want to mess with. He warns him to keep his mouth shut. He adds that these outlanders are getting weirder by the day. I let out a sound of confusion. I was just standing there a second ago. They complained that the golden opportunity just slipped through their fingers. I let out a quick, sharp breath. I tell the guy at the desk, I'm looking for Chineseanime. He laughs, calling me another idiot with a death wish. He says I've got some nerve calling Lord Chineseanime by name. He mentions the last guy who tried that is currently being eaten by stray dogs down in the ruins. Suddenly, a shadow steps up and tells me to follow. He says Lord Chineseanime has decided to see me. The receptionist is completely floored by the news. He asks if I'm the one who's so desperate to see him. I say, Chineseanime, I presume? I ask him if this is really how he treats his guests. He chuckles, asking how on earth I figured it out. I tell him the person sitting in the chair had a breathing pattern that was way too steady. They didn't act like someone waiting for a visitor. They looked more like a bad actor trying to remember their lines. Plus, the shadow cast under the oil lamp had an extra fold that definitely shouldn't be there. I add that no matter how good the performance is, a shadow never lies. He finally drops the act and asks for the general's letter. He senses the shadow power radiating off me. He says I reek of the shadows. He tells me to name the class advancement I'm after. The system dings, triggering the class advancement choice quest. It warns me to choose carefully, no takebacks. I tell him I'm going for the executioner, Zheng Zheng is a level 20 heavenly grade boss. He's got a handful of earth grade goons protecting him. The Blood Dragon Arena is his personal fortress. Security is tighter than a drum. He asks if I'm sure. I tell him I'm dead certain. System alert, special difficulty class advancement quest accepted. It reminds me that there's no abandoning this one. Fail, and my class advancement is toast forever. He says I haven't disappointed him as a successor of the shadow power. He promises that once I take out Zheng, he'll personally craft a custom skill book just for me. I ask him where I can learn dual wielding. He tells me there's a blacksmith downstairs. He gives me a seal to show the guy. He says the blacksmith will teach me for free. I receive Chineseane's seal. Now I can grab that dual wield skill from the forge. Dual wielding acquired, and it feels good. Now I can finally equip my dual blade set. Taking down the executioner, Zheng just became a lot more realistic. He warns me that the smith has a pretty foul temper. But he adds that with his seal in hand, I shouldn't have any real trouble with him. I find the guy Chineseanime mentioned, the blood general. He tells me to stop staring. He's never seen a guy drinking booze before. I tell him Chineseanime sent me to learn swift wind. He hands over the dual wield skill book immediately. Friends of Lord Chineseanime get it for free, apparently. Talk about a sudden personality transplant. He's missing out on a career in acting, honestly. I add the dual wield skill to my repertoire. Attack power is sitting at 749, and my agility has just smashed past 400. Ghost Hand Zheng, here I come. He asks me if I'm ready for this. He tells the boss to mind his step on the way out. He invites me to come back and visit anytime. He mentions some nobody of an assassin, who actually took the contract to put him in the ground. He sneers at that woman, Chineseanime, thinking she can just send any random goon to finish him off. One of his men volunteers for the kill. He says he loves nothing more than snapping an assassin's neck. One heavenly grade enemy, one earth grade 1, and one Shin grade 1. Fighting them head-on is a suicide mission. I need to start some chaos. Divide and conquer is the only way. I hear the bear, I hear the bear. He demands to know who's making all that noise. Who's got the guts to stir up trouble on his turf? I figure while they're checking that out, it's my moment. He shouts for the assassin to show his face. I ask if it was him who released that bear earlier. He calls the diversion a classic trick. It's an ancient move, totally played out. He correctly guesses that Chineseanime sent me. He says she just likes sending her lackeys to die for her. While she sits back in the safety of her office, he asks if selling my life for her is actually worth it. What's she paying me? He offers to double the price if I switch sides. He taunts me for being afraid to step out. Or is he just scared out of his wits? I call out to Zheng Haishan. I ask him if he knows the relationship between his butcher and his brawler. He yells that I'm spouting nonsense. He claims he doesn't even know this brawler guy. He tells me to stop trying to sow discord between them. I asked the brawler if he didn't want Zheng Haishan gone for a while now. Take over the arena as the new boss, maybe? The brawler claims he's been loyal to his boss forever. He tells me not to even try it. The butcher chimes in, saying he feels the same way. I ask him if he really thinks that after today, Zheng Haishan will ever trust him again. He knows what kind of guy his boss is better than I do. Suspicious, cruel, and vindictive. A guy who follows the philosophy of better safe than sorry. He literally lives by the motto of never letting anyone off the hook. I ask the brawler if that doesn't sound like his boss's favorite line. Zheng Haishan laughs, calling my attempt at sowing discord a joke. He asks how he could possibly fall for a trick like this. He says Balian has been by his side for years, and he trusts him more than anyone else. He challenges Balian to back him up. Balian tells me my little scheme is far too amateur. He invites me to show him what I've actually got. I think to myself that the seed is planted now. Time to just sit back and watch it sprout into chaos. Zheng Haishan asks Balian if he really wants to do this after all our time together. He says he knows exactly what he hates the most. Balian looks at him and tells him he's always been loyal. The boss hisses that he's just an ungrateful wolf. Since he's decided to show no mercy, he shouldn't be surprised when I show none either. I signal the others to make their move. He yells that if I'm man enough, I should face him in a duel. He shouts for all of us to just drop dead. Artillery? Seriously? I can't believe this maniac hit cannons under the arena floor. One assassin. And 2 traitors. He claims none of us are getting out of here alive. I let out a quick shout of alarm. I whispered to myself that there's no need to cry about it now. He asks what kind of bribe Chineseanime offered me. He tries to one-up the offer, claiming he'll pay me 5 times the amount. Baz asks me if I'm seriously considering the offer. I tell him I'm choosing to kill him instead. He says if I'm that keen on dying, then I'll have to grant his wish, Lihu. I let out a grunt of pure effort. The chaos begins to erupt all around us. Lihu arrives right on cue. He's the perfect distraction for those 2 turncoats. He tells me to focus on the assassin. The cooldown on my worm dash is way too long. That was way too close for comfort. I need to get my hands on a mobility skill book immediately. He taunts me for being a coward who just hides. "10 more minutes of this dance, and it'll be over." He screams that if I want to die that badly, he'll be happy to make it happen. He lets out a manic, booming laugh. He calls this his personal guillotine. He feels invincible here on his home turf. He orders the cannons to fire. The sound of laughter fills the entire room. He asks if I'm seeing this. That's exactly what happens when you cross him. He lets out a dark, creepy chuckle. He welcomes me to his guillotine, assassin. It's his domain, and I'm just a guest. He claims his soldiers are completely immortal here. Kill them once, and they just come right back. He says there's no way I'm ever leaving these immortal soldiers behind. I decide to see if they respawn faster than I can kill them. The guards see the assassin is still up there. Zheng Haishan's reinforcements have finally arrived. He tells me my time has finally run out. The goons are back, ready for work. He asks where I think I can run to now. He orders everyone to charge at once. They're ordered to rip me into pieces. Damn it, I can't get the skill to fire. I have to rely on my own speed now. I let out a cry of intense focus. They wonder what kind of movement track that was. One strike takes out 100 guys. They're starting to realize I'm way more dangerous than they thought. Lava poison. They recognize the power of the flame demon. He's horrified, realizing I actually killed the flame demon lord. He can't believe it. It's impossible. He asks how I could possibly wield the flame demon's power. He demands to know what I did to earn it. The onlookers realize the assassin is going to win this. He screams for me to stay back. He insists this is his domain, his territory. He grunts in frustration. I decide it's fine. I ask if he really thinks he can stop me. He screams for them to kill me. He refuses to accept his soldiers can be beaten. He says if he dies, he's taking me with him. He lets out a final, pained cry. He wails that he's not willing to go out like this. A dark voice whispers about delicious souls. It says I finally belong to it. System notification. Executioner Zheng Haishan eliminated. Class advancement quest complete. Level cap has been unlocked. My growth stats have been synchronized and upgraded. Ding. I'm the first to complete the class advancement quest. A server-wide announcement is being prepared. Do I want to hide my nickname? Nope. System alert. Player Ji Shun is the first to complete class advancement. The system adds the usual keep up the good work tag to the end. I hear the other players shouting that Ji Shun is a total legend. First player to complete the class advancement. Finally, some recognition. The rest of them are still stuck grinding in the starter village. And here I am, already done with my advancement. Life is good. I can almost hear my rival screaming in frustration from here. Zheng Haishan is dead. Mission accomplished. Starting from today, the Blood Dragon Arena has a brand new owner. Zheng Haishan is gone. That went down even faster than I'd planned. He tells me he found this back in his early adventuring days. He says he originally intended to master the shadow power first, before he even started digging into it. He never imagined it would end up as a gift for me. I get the Obliteration Spirit skill book. Heavenly grade. 15 hits total for a full execution. The total damage is 750% of my attack power, plus an extra 1,500 flat damage. With my current attack stats, even if I fire this at point-blank range, the damage is easily over 7,000. If I pull back and kite, it hits even harder thanks to sun-piercing buffs. And the best part is it doesn't even break my invisibility. An AoE skill like this is a genuine god-tier ability. He asks if I'm satisfied. I tell him, thanks, doesn't even cover it. He says don't mention it. The shadow power chose me, not him. It's my fate, apparently. He tells me to use it well. Don't ever let the shadows be brought to shame. I ask him if Zheng Haishan's death is going to cause any blowback for him. He says the black market is full of ambitious backstabbers anyway. Zheng Haishan is dead. There'll just be a new Zheng Haishan taking his place soon. But at the very least, my personal pile of trouble just got one headache shorter. He notes I finished my advancement. He asks where I'm planning on heading next. I tell him I'm looking to buy a shop. And then, it's back to grinding levels. He hands me this, thinking I might find it interesting. It's a summon item. The bear I used in the Blood Dragon arena was triggered by this exact piece of kit. D-grade summon items like this are rare in Linlang City. I ask him if he's really okay with parting with it. He says if someone shows up with this item in hand and claims they were the one who iced Zheng Haishan, wouldn't the path to rebuilding the arena get a whole lot smoother? Oh, baby. You really aren't modest, are you? He asks what I want in exchange for it. I tell him a shop location. He laughs, saying I've got some nerve asking for Wudong Street. That's the most expensive real estate in the city. The value of a single shop there would be enough to buy an entire street in the black market. I pitch him a mysterious gladiator carrying an ancient horn. Solo Zheng Haishan. That's a legendary enough story, right? If he takes charge of the arena, the resistance will vanish overnight. He says done deal. Wudong Street 17 is mine. The previous owner messed with the wrong crowd. It's all yours now. I tell him pleasure doing business. He agrees. Pleasure doing business. The general asks if I'm back from the black market already. He asks if I managed to track down chineseanime. I tell him yes, and thank him for the referral. I mention that chineseanime helped me with a small favor. I secured a shop on Wudong Street. I tell him that when I have my grand opening, I hope he'll do me the honor of showing up. Wudong Street 17. That's a high-priced spot. He guesses chineseanime must have been pretty happy with me. He promises to stop by for the opening. He's actually curious to see what an outlander who can kill Zheng Haishan is capable of getting up to next. He says he actually has a little task for me. A pack of werewolves is causing havoc east of the city. It's wrecking the trade routes and making transport impossible. He's been scouting them for days, but his men can't find their nest. He wants me to go take a look. Quest triggered. The troublemaking werewolves. Destroy the werewolf nest. Reward, 5,000 XP, plus 50 silver coins, and plus 10 rep with the general. I tell him consider it done. He says go, but keep your head on a swivel. Werewolves are dangerous, so don't get overconfident. He thinks to himself that this outlander is getting more interesting by the day. The werewolves talk about killing me to eat. One of them screams about its mother. The werewolf shouts out, you. It's terrified, screaming that I've managed to master the shadow power. It orders its pack to run for their lives. One of the wolves reports back to their pack leader. He asks in a panic if I'm still on their tail. He stammers that he doesn't see me yet, but he screams that the devil is just too fast. The leader tells them to keep running. Wolves are experts at kiting enemies into traps. If you can't win, just run away. Lead the enemy straight into the main lair, and let the whole pack swarm them. They've pulled this tactic so many times, they think it's foolproof. It's a shame for them that I'm not the average target. They reach the entrance and dive inside. The leader sneers at me, calling me a stupid human. He asks if I really thought they were actually running for their lives. He declares this is where I'm going to be buried. They turn around, confused, wondering where I've gone. I smirk. An ambush? Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. When they can't find me, the leader tells them to howl across the whole valley to track me down. I ready my obliteration spirit spell. Time for the first real field test. I let out a quick, focused breath. Another sharp exhale as I prepare to strike. I let out a short, mocking laugh. A quick, breathy laugh escapes me. I whisper, "Whoa," as the damage starts stacking. The leader screams for everyone to charge. They have to take down that intruder right now. I let out a sharp grunt, avoiding a claw. System notification. I've hit level 11. I'm awarded 5 free attribute points. Time to get stronger. Hunting moment, activate. 1 more evolution point added to the collection. Is that all? Come on, give me more. I might as well just skip ahead to level 20 at this point. The leader snarls that I'm going to regret this. Wait, is that a military-grade repeating crossbow? Someone is supplying these wolves with black market weapons. He calls me a mere human. He admits he's actually surprised I made it this far, but he says it's over now. He shouts for his men to fire. I give them a cheerful little hello. I shout for my own forces to charge in. I hear them screaming in confusion. He cries out that he's surrendering. System prompt. Choice quest triggered. I've got to be careful how I handle this. Option 1. Spare the werewolf leader. The reward is the entirety of the werewolf nest loot, plus the disguiser's cloak. Option 2. Execute the werewolf leader. The reward is bonus reputation, with General Lake Hemming, plus 10 points. He begs me to just let him live. He swears every piece of treasure in the nest is mine. He claims it's worth at least 1,000 gold coins. He says the real hoard is hidden elsewhere. Without him, I'll never be able to find it. He pleads with me, promising it's all mine if I just let him go. I tell him if I kill him, I'm getting the treasure anyway. He screams that we'll go down together, then. He tries to name drop a big shot contact of his. The system alert updates my choice quest. I really need to weigh these options carefully. Option 1. Spare him. All the nest's wealth becomes mine, and I get that disguiser's cloak. With that, I can infiltrate the secret meetings of the Linling City Shadow Organization. Wait, a secret shadow organization? That's the same group arming these wolves with crossbows. He shouts that I'm going to regret choosing the hard way. Quest complete. I gained 10 reputation with General Lake Hemming. The cloak would have been handy, sure. But giving up a quest reward for a temporary item isn't my style. The general's trust is worth way more than some random cloak. This is warrior gear. I'll dump this on Baz later for a good price. Early on, dumping everything into agility was the only way to solo bosses. But my agility is capped where I need it now. Time to start smoothing out the rough edges in my build. Strength, constitution, spirit, I need to get them all up to speed. General Lei Kiming asks if I managed to find their nest. I tell him the nest is history, but I did manage to stumble onto something interesting while I was there. I hold up the military crossbow. He's baffled. How did a wolf pack get their paws on military-grade tech? He asks if anyone else knows about this. I tell him just me, and he says we need to keep a lid on it. He's going to run a quiet investigation on his own. He'll reach out to me once he has a lead. Quest, the troublemaking werewolves finished. I grab the XP, the silver, and the reputation bonus. That's another 10 points with the general. Military crossbows appearing in a wolf den. Someone is definitely running an illegal arms trade, and the general is going to hunt them down from the shadows. I ask what I'm supposed to do with all this military-grade kit I looted. He asks what's the matter. I tell him I just picked up a new skill book. I ask him if he wants to check out this flash/blink mobility skill. It's a universal class skill, too. He says forget it, I'm taking this skill book for myself. He asks which starter village I'm currently in. He's going to swing by and grab it personally. I say, whoa, you're coming out here yourself, big shot. I tell him he can just have someone ship it over. He says no need, he's got some business in the starter village anyway. I add that I've also got a pile of level 10 common gear sitting around. I ask if he's interested in taking that off my hands. He jumps at the offer, saying name my price, and it's a deal. 23 items, at 5 million a pop. I'll cut him a 20% discount, because I'm generous like that. Total comes to 332 million. Cash, wire transfer, done deal. He asks when I'm swinging by to drop this off. I tell him I'll have Xiao Shui set up the transfer for today. Hunting moment, activate. Another evolution point in the bag. 12 evolution points now. Time to use that flash skill book. With this, my positioning is going to be so much more comfortable. My shadow dash is decent, sure, but breaking stealth every time I use it is a real buzzkill. I check if I want to teleport. Ask me which main city I'm heading to. I say I'm skipping the main city. I'm heading straight back to the starter village. Usually, warping back costs 50 silver. But wait, do I get to warp here for free? Turns out, village hero perks are pretty sweet. Please, right this way. This trip back to the starter village is going to be incredibly profitable. They all start shouting, Ji Shun, Ji Shun. I'm back in the starter zone. They're all wondering why the big shot is back again. They're all hoping I've got another hidden quest for them. They call out to me, Ji Shun. They're relieved I finally showed up. I hand over the skill book. I ask why they're only level 4. They call me Ji Shun. Man, the name is so catchy. They claim they've been grinding as fast as they can. They tell me to look around. Everyone else is still level 1 or 2. I think to myself that they've got a point. They're asking if level 4 is considered just. They've been grinding for 3 days and only hit level 2. Are we even playing the same game here? They gawk at the pile of gear I'm dumping. They ask if I raided an entire military armory to get this stuff. They say they haven't even found one decent weapon yet. And here I am, handing out top-tier loot like it's candy. They confirm the total price is 332 million. They say the cash has been sent to my virtual account. They tell me to double-check that I got it. I look at the buyer, Ji Shun. He wants to buy these 2 blades for himself. I give him a price, 200,000 for the trader's dagger, and 2 million for the lava spear. I ask him cash or transfer. He tells Xiao Shui to just wire the money. I tell them for the next hour, I'm power leveling you guys. 1 million per person. For million total, are you in or out? They tell their friend to pinch them. They have to make sure they aren't dreaming. It's real, it's actually real. They scream, yes, 100 times over. They tell Xiao Shui to pay up. They're gloating that I asked to level them up personally. They wonder what that signifies. Obviously, it means I recognize their true talent. My rival gloats that he clearly has a good eye for people. I tell him to just quit it already. I point out I don't even know his name, and he's calling me his rival. He says I just don't get it. He calls it a mutual admiration society. I tell them to keep up and don't fall behind. I hear the packs of wolves. Jinshan brothers, watch out. The wolf pack is getting bigger and bigger. They ask if we should consider a tactical retreat. There must be 50 or 60 of them now, and there are only 5 of us. I let out a shout as the battle begins. Wait, we just hit level 5? My rival asks if I'm seeing this. This is the power of my arch-rival. He says he knew I was the right guy all along. I point out he was literally hiding behind me 5 seconds ago. He's calling himself the rival of a big shot. He insists it was a tactical retreat. He says I just don't understand the strategy. Jinshan brothers, incoming. They ask what skill that was. How did it spread automatically like that? It's the lava poison. The heart of the molten core. It dropped from the final boss in special mode. The heart of the molten core. It's the one from the dungeon you cleared first, Ji-shun. I give a silent nod. But that special mode is a one-time thing. There's only one flame demon lord per starter village. Once you kill him, that's it, he's gone for good. This skill is probably going to be unique to me, and stay that way for a long, long time across the whole server. So, basically, I'm holding a limited edition item. My rival sneers, saying as expected of his arch-nemesis. He admits that I really am something else. No wonder this skill is so ridiculously powerful. I tell them to move to a new spot and keep going. For million per hour. My old monthly salary was 3,000. How is a guy even supposed to process this kind of math? A client says they're level 6 now. Can we keep going? They're asking to party up again for the next level. They want to know if I'll allow group buy rates. They've got the whole village pooling their cash together. If that doesn't work, they're talking about crowdfunding it. I let out a curse under my breath. Jinshan brothers, watch out. The wolves are attacking from 3 different sides. They offer to block one side for me. I tell them I can handle it on my own. Just stand back a bit. I'd hate for you to get caught in the friendly fire. Jinshan brothers, right side. They're staring in awe. Is he even human? Fighting on 3 fronts at once. And he's not even breaking a sweat. My rival mutters that I'm truly his worthy arch-nemesis. He admits he didn't even catch how I threw that last attack. Just like that, I hit level 7. Baz yells at me, asking if I'm hacking or something. I went from level 4 to 7 in the blink of an eye. He asks if I'm worried about getting banned. He asks if I bought some kind of cheat from Ji-shun. He wants to know the price. He wants one too. I tell him brothers don't worry about money. Who says I'm hacking? This is what you call the blessing of Ji-shun. You guys can just sit there and be jealous. Ji-shun, my brother. These 4 million coins were worth every single cent. I tell them to save the chatter and keep going. The time isn't up yet. The lackey yells to his boss that it's bad news. He says Ji-shun is back in Shizhao village. And he's power leveling Baz along with him. Baz is already level 7. Between Ji-shun and Baz. Why do these guys keep haunting me like ghosts? He tells them to just wait. When he gets to the gambling city, we're going to settle all our old debts at once. Hey. Level 8, halfway there. I went from level 4 to 8 in just 1 hour. That 4 million was a steal, if you ask me. Another client offers to pay double, 2 million, if I'll just carry them too. The others chime in, saying me too. Please, big shot, carry me. One guy calls me his foster father, complaining he spent half a life wandering, just waiting for a master like me. I tell him no more carries for today. I've got business back in the main city. They scream that we can negotiate the price. 4 million is fine, seriously. They ask me to just name my number. I tell them it's not about the money. I chuckle, thinking about how they're throwing money at me and I don't even need it. Oh, heavens above. Why couldn't I have met a big shot like this sooner? They beg me to leave them a contact number. Promise them you'll pick them first next time you level up. Luanshi Kwangdao screams that I've gone too far this time, and that sycophant Baz is just as bad. Just because he's clinging to a big shot's leg doesn't make him special. His right-hand man yells that he has big news, huge news. The boys just spotted someone who found a guild token. He lets out a triumphant, maniacal laugh. The heavens are finally helping him out. He tells Ji-shun and Baz to just wait. He's going to be the #1 guild, no matter what. He orders them to find that player immediately. Take that token at any cost, he tells them. They salute, promising the boss he has nothing to worry about. They're on it right now. They swear they're going to get it done. Ji-shun, just wait until I get my guild running. You're going to be the first one on my list to cut down. One of our guys tells the Fuipjong someone in the starter village found a token. He tells them to buy it immediately, whatever it takes. He says they were just about to wrap the deal up. But Luanshi Kwangdao just swooped in, offering double to steal it. He tells them to just do their best. I ask the Jinshan brothers what they think they're doing. I tell them there's no need to sweat over the guild token. There are people out there who understand it a lot better than you do. One of his lackeys nervously calls out to the boss. He wonders if the big shot already has a guild token of his own. Otherwise, how could he be acting so incredibly chill? The boss snaps at them to stop guessing and mind their own business. He tells them to pack it up and get back to grinding levels. I hear the chatter. That player who found the token just announced something. They aren't going to the starter village for the trade anymore. I ask what that's supposed to mean. If not the starter village, where else would they go? The word is they're heading to the main city for an auction. Highest bidder takes it all, apparently. He's just waiting to see how desperate the big guilds actually are. He tells me his double price offer isn't even enough now. Does this guy think I'm some kind of easy mark? The lackey says double is just the starting price. Half the big guilds in the main city are already lining up to bid. He's playing everyone to get the highest possible price. Fine. Good, even. I'll show him who's got the deepest pockets. I order them to buy up every bit of gold they can find. Sell whatever we've got in the guild warehouse. I don't care. That guild token is mine, no matter the cost. And if anyone dares to step in my way, they're going to regret the day they were born. They salute, promising the boss it's handled. One guy notes there are some pretty tough guilds in the city. What if they push the bidding past our limit? He laughs, asking if their money is worth more than the reputation of the DA guild. Money comes and goes, but status? That's forever. If we miss this token, we're out of the game. He screams for them to spend until we're dry. I drop a word to Shishan. The guy with the token is taking it to the city auction. Luanshi Kwangdao is out there bragging he's going to grab it. In the old timeline, that first token was exactly how Luanshi Kwangdao made his name in the early game. It was what turned his faction into a top-tier powerhouse. I'll keep a close eye on him this time around. And here's a little secret for you. I've got a guild token in my pocket too. He's stunned. I actually have 2 tokens now. I tell him to keep a lid on it for now. Once the auction starts, we're going to have a front row seat to the chaos. I tell him he can count on me. My lips are sealed tight. Luanshi Kwangdao, you built your empire on that token in the last life. This time, I'm going to make sure you faceplant hard. Shop registration is done. Now the real work begins. I'll let the token auction drama reach a boiling point. Then I'll drop mine onto the market. I command them to keep buying everything. I don't care what the price is. We need the gold, and we need it now. I will own that guild token. They confirm, boss, it's done. #1 guild. And nobody is taking that away from me. Ji-shun Baz. Just you wait. The second I get my guild established, You two are the first ones on the hit list. I walk up to the clerk to handle some business. He asks what I'm looking to get done today. He's being suspiciously polite. I tell him I need to register a shop. He asks what kind of shop? What are you selling? I repeat, I want to register a shop. He hems and haws, saying this is going to be a real pain to process. I slap the city lord's official seal on the counter. His attitude shifts in a heartbeat. Why didn't I lead with that? He says he'll get it finished for me immediately. He says, "Oh, my lord." He asks what the shop's name is going to be. I wonder if they stopped teaching basic literacy for government exams. I tell him I studied abroad in Shanghui City. I don't need to take any more tests. He stamps the form, raving about my beautiful handwriting. System notification, I'm officially a legal shop owner in Linlang City. I look around the place. Hasn't anyone swept in here for a decade? Some NPC runs up, laughing and greeting the new boss. He says he's an expert at repairing gear. If he can't fix it, the service is free. Another one claims he's the king of gear appraisal. He once mistook a common sword for an artifact. He adds, well, he might have been slightly off on that one. The next one says he used to work at the red light district. He's a pro at charming the customers. I tell them I'm opening a gear shop. Not a brothel. They insist it's all the same, selling things. It's all basically the same thing. How did I end up with such a bizarre collection of NPCs? Shop is settled. Now let's talk about this guild token. I ask him to keep his ears open for me. I ask him if he's heard any other rumblings about guild tokens. He asks if I'm planning on building a guild myself. He volunteers to be my vice chairman right on the spot. I say no, but someone else definitely is. He asks who I'm talking about. I tell him it's Launcher Kwangdao. Somebody steps on my foot, and I snap at them to watch it. I'm a squishy ranged archer, so stop the shoving. If you keep it up, I'm going to flatline right here on the pavement. I can't see a thing. Are they handing out free eggs up ahead or something? I yell for everyone to form a line and keep it orderly. I tell them if anyone tries to cut, they aren't getting anything from me. The guy stammers, "Whoa, big sister. I'm sorry I was wrong." I ask who he's calling big sister. I tell him to address me as little miss if he wants to stay in line. I get ready for the day. Ready, go? This blade is completely chipped and notched. I ask if the guy was using it to chop up iron bars. He just laughs sheepishly. He tells me he tried to chop up a stone golem with it. I ask him if stone golems are supposed to be hacked with a sword. That's clearly a job for a hammer. This sword is D-grade quality. He laughs, saying he's serious. The mud caked on it is D-grade, sure. D-grade weapons. Get your D-grade weapons here. I decide to offload some of the gear the Flame Demon Lord dropped. Everyone is shouting that they'll buy. They're talking about taking out loans just to afford my stuff. My daily revenue is already topping what other guilds make in a month. One of my staff notes business is booming today. He asks if I'll treat the team to a nice dinner tonight. I tell them I'll give them 0.5% of the total revenue. They can figure out the dinner situation themselves. They cheer that the boss is a legend. Nearly 2,000 gold coins in a single day. Once the players start leveling up higher, that number is going to double, easily. The blacksmith says he's whipped up a big pot of beef balls. He asks if I want to come down and grab some. He laughs, explaining he used his repair hammer to pound the meat. He claims the texture is perfectly bouncy and tender. I ask him if he used that repair hammer. How many pieces of gear did that hammer touch today? He guesses maybe over 1,000 pieces. Some were covered in dog blood. Some were soaked in dragon spit. And he lists a few more things. I tell them I'm not hungry anymore and to enjoy their dinner. I tell my contact to listen up. They finally track down the guy who found the guild token. I ask if Launcher Kwangdao knows yet. He asks if I figured out what's going on. It's some random solo player called Drifting on the Wind. Launcher Kwangdao already has people out there trying to haggle. He's offering 1,500 gold coins. I tell him to get me in touch with that player. Tell them I'm putting up 3,000 gold coins. I check in with Baz. He asks if I'm really planning to build a guild. I tell him no, but I want to make Launcher Kwangdao bleed for this. The player is shocked that it's actually me. He tells me he's my biggest fan. He's watched my solo clear of the Flame Demon Lord 800 times. I tell him if he's watched it 800 times, he must have a lot of free time. He lets out a nervous stutter. He says he hasn't even left the starter village yet. I tell him I've got nothing to do, so I'm offering 3,000 coins for the token. He asks for 3,000. He's surprised because Launcher Kwangdao only offered 1,500. He asks what the catch is. I tell him he's going to help me play a little prank. Whatever Launcher Kwangdao offers. You tell him Baz is offering even more. We're going to drive that price into the stratosphere. He asks how high he should push it. I say 7,000. He wonders if he'll actually pay that much. I tell him he absolutely will. Because he's desperate to win. He stammers that he'll do whatever I say. He's following my lead. But he asks if I'd mind signing an autograph. I tell him I'm not exactly a celebrity. He says a photo will do. Then, a fan yells out, "Hey Ji-shun, they're begging me not to leave yet." The boss is laughing, asking who owns this chicken. He orders them to stew it. One of his guys warns him. That's a system-spawned chicken. You can't just stew wild chickens. He says if he says he can, he can. I hear the distant sound of singing. The lackey reports back that the player with the token responded. He asks what he said. He says Baz just countered with 3,000. He asks if we're going to match the 3,000. He asks if Baz has completely lost his mind. Who pays that much for a single guild token? One of his men worries that if Baz grabs the first guild title, they'll never be able to hold their heads high in the God realm again. He yells to push it to 3,500, no matter what. And he reminds them again to go get that chicken stewed. Yes, boss, yes. He's screaming about 3,500. The guild's treasury is down to its last 5,000. His right-hand man says Baz just countered with 4,000. He's wondering if that guy has gone completely insane. One of the guys suggests maybe it's time to just give up. He explodes, shouting that the first guild title must be his. He orders them to add another 500, up to 4,500. He tells himself that as long as he lands that top guild title, all the money he's burning will just flow right back in. It's all going to come back to him. The lackey stammers that Launcher Kwangdao has already jumped to 5,500. I tell him that's not enough. Tell him Baz is bidding 6,000. He worries that Launcher Kwangdao might actually fold. I assure him he won't. He's in too deep now. He's got no room left to lose. He's got it, boss. Contacting Launcher Kwangdao now. Baz just hit 6,000. He asks if they're going to match it or not. I mutter that this tavern is too cheap to even offer a cup of tea. And they call this hospitality? Someone complains that I'm always coming here to mooch off the free water. I tell him he's got a lot of nerve saying that. The lackey reports that Baz has officially hit 6,000. The seller is getting impatient. If it's not done tonight, they're shipping it off to the main city auction house tomorrow. I tell them 7,000 coins. Tell them I'm putting up 7,000. And tell them that's my final offer. His right-hand man looks panicked. He says if we spend 7,000, our cash flow is completely dead. I tell him the cash flow can be restarted, but the guild token. If we miss this, we're out for good. Get moving. I shout, asking what they think they're doing. I tell them I'm not exactly on the menu for whatever they're planning. Get lost, I'm trying to finish a business deal here. I let out a breath, completely rattled. I honestly thought they were trying to kidnap me for a second. I demand the cash up front before I hand over the goods. 7,000 gold coins, exactly as promised. Not a single coin less. The 7,000 coins land in my account. Beauty. I let out a hearty, booming laugh. The first guild title is finally mine. I have to head to the main city official to register the guild. System notification, cannot process in this zone. Damn it, I have to go to the main city after all. Running errands in the middle of the night instead of sleeping. Being young is exhausting. I let out a sound of lingering fatigue. System announcement. Congratulations to player Baz for establishing the very first guild in the God realm. His guild name, Baz, rings across the entire world. They look over at Launcher Kwangdao. They're whispering that he dropped 7,000 gold on a token, only to get beaten to the punch. He bought nothing but heartache. The crowd is howling at how badly he got burned. I laugh, thinking of how many hot pot dinners that would have paid for. I let out a series of amused gasps. Geez, Shun Baz, you two are definitely in for it now. Next time, you'd better work on that trigger finger. He tells himself 7,000 gold for a lesson isn't all that bad. He says that's enough to keep his guild brothers in meal money for half a year. I tell the stray dogs to get lost. I don't have anything for you to eat. The subordinate informs the boss the guild treasury is bottoming out. They can't even cover the members' wages now. He says if it's over, it's over. Even the local stray dogs are hanging around watching him fail. A dark voice asks if I am a mortal who hungers for power. I ask what exactly you can offer me. It promises me everything I've ever wanted. All I have to do is surrender my soul. I give it my answer. I address the brothers. Today marks the official founding of our BUG guild. No fluff, no speeches. We have exactly one rule: we stick together. And we are going to dominate this god realm. One of the guys asks what the guild benefits package looks like. I tell him there's plenty of boxed lunches to go around. Another asks if we've got dorms. I tell him he can throw down a sleeping mat in the warehouse. He grumbles that this guild sounds more like a construction site. One of the shop staff notes my friend just founded a guild. Shouldn't we send over a fancy wall scroll to congratulate him? I tell him no need, just send over a plaque instead. I know a guy who does calligraphy. He's cheap, so no need to spend a fortune. He asks if I want to lose my commission for the day. Jinshan Brothers, Luansher Kwangdao's side has completely imploded. Most of his guild members have already jumped ship. He's basically running a solo guild at this point. But the story isn't over just yet. When a man is pushed into a corner, he'll do anything. When a man is pushed into a corner, he'll do anything. I tell Balian to keep a close watch on him. He asks if he should just keep an eye on his movements. I tell him if the guy suddenly goes dark, you're to let me know the second it happens. A dark, booming voice asks me if I'm willing to surrender my soul. It promises me power enough to crush anything in my path. I scream, I'm willing. It declares that from this day forward, I'm the official representative of the gods in the mortal realm. Gee Shun Baz. Just you wait and see. What on earth is this creature? I complained that my demon lord could at least look cooler, like a dragon or something. I'm in the mood for some roasted pork. I shout for help. This pig has completely lost its mind. Laughter breaks out, loud enough to make common sense pack its bags and leave. I ask Baz what he thinks. If these players actually found out that the god realm was about to become reality, do you think they'd still be laughing this hard? He says probably not, but warning them now would just start a panic. This game is genuinely losing its mind. But what's coming is coming. You can't stop it. The only thing we can do is make sure a few more people survive when the disaster hits. Jinshan Brothers. Word is finally in from Luansher Kwangdao's side. They're reporting that he's gone completely off the grid. He hasn't logged on in 3 days. Even his own guild lackeys can't get a hold of him. Just as I thought. Now, let's pick up the pace. Guild levels, member combat readiness, resource stockpiling. Everything needs to hit overdrive. Understood? I tell him we need to meet up in the real world tomorrow. There are some things that just don't play well over the phone. The real world? Jinshan Brothers, you really want to see me in person? I send him the specific address in Nanchuan City. 3 p.m. sharp. Don't be late. He asks what he should wear. A suit, or something more casual. I tell him just put on some clothes. Anything will do. Looks like dinner is finally on the schedule. Luansher Kwangdao, here is your very first assignment. I want you to stir up as much chaos in the god realm as possible. Go ahead and grab those ants' attention. Understood, my great gods. The mighty, glorious gods. Jishun, you think you've won just because you grabbed that guild token? You're way too naive. I tell him he's got some dandruff on his hair. He tells me to shut it. Did he pick the wrong crow for this? I ask if any of you have something to eat. I'm absolutely starving. He tells me to get lost. The waiter asks if I want sugar for my latte. I tell him no thanks. It's a beautiful day out today. Perfect weather for a date, wouldn't you say? I tell him I'm definitely not here for a date. He asks if I'm waiting on someone else then? A boyfriend or a girlfriend, maybe? I tell him it's just a guy I met online. He laughs, asking if it's a blind online date. I chuckle and tell him no, it's not that. It's just business regarding a game. He asks if I play God Realm. His younger brother is a player too. He says his ID is Lucky Shuangling. I tell him I've never heard of him and don't know who that is. I told him to wear actual clothes, not to show up in a damn cosplay costume. Jinshan brothers, what do you think of this getup? I spent a solid hour picking it out. I tell him as long as he's happy, that's all that matters. The waiter asks what this gentleman will have. I ask if they have any goji berry and chrysanthemum tea. I've been up all night grinding in the game, and my liver is definitely feeling the burn. The waiter reminds me this is a coffee shop, not a health clinic. I say, fine, just plain water then. I wonder, what on earth is this? The Nanchuan city of the future. Jinshan brothers, how much time do we actually have left? I tell him I don't know the exact date, but it won't be long now. That's why we need to move fast. Resource hubs, connections, prepare as much of it all as you can. Jason, I'm putting my trust in you. Another one brainwashed by that game, just like my younger brother. You keep a close eye on the guild business. Remember this. Only recruit core members you know in real life. I understand. Oh, and if the sky ever starts to crack open one day, don't panic. Just round up your people and head south. I've got a base camp all set up and waiting for you there. Jinshan brothers, what kind of base are we talking about? An abandoned subway station. I've stockpiled enough food to keep 200 people going for 3 months. He asks when I found the time to prep all that. I just spent the last few days on it. Little Gua, is your water pipe leaking again? Water is dripping from my ceiling. He denies it, saying he didn't even turn his tap on. I laugh, asking how my place turned into a cave waterfall then. Old Wong, if your ceiling is leaking, what does that have to do with my faucet dripping? Water flows downhill, genius. Your leak is coming right down into my apartment. He says you live above me, you idiot. Maybe it's Old Lee from the unit above you? In the previous life, the gods arrived 3 months after the servers went live. That night, Nanchuan City turned into a complete wasteland. Countless people died in their sleep. They didn't even have a chance to scream. Little Gu asks what the Wi-Fi password is. I tell him the connection is down. 123456778. Seriously, that simple? I'm just worried about people stealing my signal. Well, signal thieves are still easier to handle than the apocalypse. He asks if I've been under too much stress lately. In my past life, I didn't have this trump card. This time, I'm going to rewrite the whole damn story. I say that when he just glanced at me. I sat there frozen for a whole week. Me too. I even returned all the gear I just bought. I asked Hong Yu what he did to my customers. Shueshan brothers, there's trouble. Something huge is happening in God Realm. You need to log in right now. I ask what's going on in the God Realm world. I'm stuck. I can't log out. I tell them to stay safe. I try my own logout button. It's totally dead. It's over. We're finished. The small administrative office is all that's left. In the old life, the gods didn't arrive for 3 months. It's arriving early this time because of me. I tell the brothers I'm here. Big trouble is brewing. Players are officially trapped in the game, and people have spotted Luan Shirquangdao in the main city. His eyes are glowing pure gold. I tell them not to panic. Get the guild members to gather at Lianlong City immediately. I'm going to go find General Lei Hemming. He greets me, saying the general has been waiting. I ask him what that pillar of light is. That's the gateway for the gods. They're descending ahead of schedule. This is the intel my scouts managed to scrape up. The gods have picked out a mortal to serve as their puppet in this world. And he's busy gathering the energy they need to arrive. I knew it was him. Leave him to me. Now, I've got a mission for you guys. These 3 spots are the energy nodes for the gateway. Destroying them is the only way to slow down the gods' arrival. I tell the brothers, just tell me what to do. And we're on it. Split into 3 squads. Attack simultaneously. And remember, don't get bogged down. Hit the node and get out of there. Launch your Kwangdao this time. I'm not letting you get your way. He lets out a manic laugh. The laughter goes on forever, totally unhinged. More hysterical laughter. A quick, sharp chuckle. The laughter just doesn't stop. A single cold hot. He laughs, mocking me. He says, "Gee Shun, so you finally showed up. What a shame you're way too late." I tell him he's lost it. If the world burns, he dies too. He keeps on laughing. He asks, "Die?" I've already moved past the level of mere mortals. The gods have granted me eternal life, and you are going to disappear from this world for good. I tell him it won't work. He says the god's protection makes him immune to all damage. I tell him you're just wasting your breath. Immunity? How is that even possible? He chuckles, asking Ji Shun, "Do you know your biggest mistake? You're way too arrogant. You really thought one simple rebirth could change everything? You really thought a 3S grade talent made you invincible? How laughable. Now just die already." Ji Shuai, look out, run. You're just asking for it. I tell my brother I'm actually fine. I can still hold my ground. The backup is finally here. Get out of here. You guys fall back. Leave this guy to us. He lets out a booming, arrogant laugh. He asks if I really think these ants can stop him. Yeah, exactly. Trying to brawl head-on isn't going to get us anywhere. I've got to find his weakness, fast. I tell them to cover me while I make a run for that pillar of light. They scream that I've lost my mind. That's his main lair. His power is clearly anchored to the god's gateway. If I can just cut off that connection, he'll weaken just like everything else. Fine, I'm with you on this. Come get me, you golden-eyed freak. Look over here, you moron. He's still alive? Jishin, where are you hiding? Come out and face me. Look over here, your real opponent is me. He shouts that he's going to kill me first, and then hunt the other guy down. I tell my brother it's all on him now. I make a sound of intense effort. Now it's finally my turn. He panics, feeling his power slipping away. He screams in agony as his strength fades. He lets out a pained gasp. He calls me a chicken. He demands to know if I really thought this would kill him. He begs the gods to save him. The gods tell him that he's disappointed them. He screams no. They promised him. They promised him eternal life. They promised him power. They tell him if he failed, he's not worthy of their power. No. The gods speak to the mortals. They say we won this round. But the game has only just begun. Is it over? You actually did it. Gee shun, my brother. What's wrong? It's not over yet. Did you hear what the gods said? They said the game has only just begun. I let out a sound of realization. A sudden, sharp cry. The ground is shaking. Run for it. No, no. It's an earthquake, and something is clawing its way up from below. System alert. The barrier between the real world and the god realm has shattered. Monsters are invading the real world as we speak. Real world monsters? So that's what the gods game was actually for. I tell the general I have to return to the real world. The real world? He asks if I mean the world I came from. It's being overrun by monsters. I tell him I have to get back to protect my family and friends. He hands me a teleportation token. It'll let me freely shuttle between reality and the god realm. He tells me to keep it close so I can come back anytime. I tell him to stay here, organize the guild members, and keep them on standby. He tells me understood. I realize this scene wasn't supposed to happen for another 3 months. The fact that it's happening this early is definitely on me. Back in the real world, my stats are getting nerfed hard. My damage is cut to half of what it is in the god realm. But this time, I'm not letting the tragedy from my past repeat itself. Damn it, there's more. My friend shouts that he's here to help. He rallies the troops to protect our home. Kill them all. Baz, hold steady. Leave them to me. They scream that we've won. I tell them this is only the beginning. Get everyone together and organize the rescue efforts. Save whoever you can, you understand. In my last life, I watched the world die, completely helpless to stop it. I won't let history repeat itself in this life. The gods speak to the mortals. They admit we showed strength that genuinely surprised them. But the game has only just begun. I yelled at whatever game you want to play. I'm ready to see it through to the end. The gods reply that they're looking forward to it. The second phase of the experiment has officially started.